we want to thank the facilitators from Angola and from DRC for their patiently listening to us, for patiently listening to what we have been discussing, but also for making time out of their many very heavy schedules to come and be with us here. We believe that the issues that we have are resolvable, and want to assure you, you facilitators, that we will continue to work on them with your guidance and support so that we can resolve them. I would now like to defer to my colleague. Please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sam Kuteesa. I want first of all to thank you for inviting us for this second meeting of the Ad Hoc Commission on the implementation of the Rwanda MoU, and also for your hospitality and the facility availed to us. I want also to thank the facilitators, the Deputy Prime Minister of DRC and the Minister of Angola for their patience and also for their contribution to find a way forward. And I thank you, journalists, for your patience for the past 5-6 hours. We have indeed a deep discussion on the issues that were in the Rwanda MoU signed on 21st of August, but also on the Kigali Communiqué on 16th September. We noted that there was a progress in elaboration of extradition treaty that we will continue discussing, and we may find an agreement on the issues that were raised by Rwanda, but also that are in the two documents that we have already signed, mainly the armed groups that are operating here in Uganda and are getting support. We have discussed and we have provided information. We have provided names, and our counterparts in Uganda promised to look into the information that we have provided, because we believe as Rwanda that this is the core of this issue, or this crisis that we are facing. But we have had a frank discussion on this issue, and I want even to thank both delegations for really the cordial but frank discussion. We have also addressed the issue of Rwandans who were arbitrarily arrested and illegally detained and also tortured in this country. We have also an exchange of views on this situation, and we didn't have an agreement on this issue, obviously, but this is an issue that we will continue to talk about. And we have also talked about the issue of the hostile propaganda by the media, which is still going on, even some point has increased since the last meeting in Kigali. So this was the second meeting, but we believe that since this commission, Ad Hoc Commission, is a commission that was created by the Rwanda MoU, the Rwanda MoU that was established by heads of state, signed by heads of state in a quadripartite summit. We believe that we will consult our heads of state and agree on the way forward on different proposals that were put on the table, especially from the Rwandan side, because those three issues are important because they are as I said, they are toxic in the relations between Rwanda and Uganda. And we hope that for the near future, we could, as Minister Kuteesa said, have good faith and goodwill to solve the issues that we have. Because as I said in the closed meeting, we don't need to multiply our meetings. We don't need to create commissions or to create this and that. We need just to solve, to have goodwill, good faith, to solve the issues that our people are asking about. Because we came here with a lot of expectation, and we have seen on social media that there is a lot of expectation of our people, of Rwandan people and Ugandan people, about this meeting. They want to be sure that tomorrow a Rwandan can come to Uganda for trade, can come to Uganda to visit relatives without a fear of being illegally arrested. And the people on our border want to be sure that they will live in peace without being threatened by armed groups that we have mentioned that are operating in Uganda. So we believe that we will continue this process and find a lasting solution for the people of our country, but also the people of East Africa. Thank you.
Let me just add for a bit of the record. We also discussed issues that Uganda raised, issues like attempts to infiltrate our security agencies, issues like the closure of the border by Rwanda. We also talked about, as he says, Rwandans who have been arrested here for illegal activities and some of them deported. We have had each other's views, and I think we commit to see that we work on these issues. For Uganda, clearly, we shall never support any force that destabilizes or intends to destabilize our neighbors, including Rwanda. And what we will do is whatever issues have been raised by Rwanda, we shall take interest in and investigate them. We have proposed that there should be a joint verification mechanism where both of us look at each other's allegations and try to establish the truth, because we think this would be the basis of goodwill. That, I hope, will continue to be considered so that in the future, everything, we act on the truth. But as Olivier has said, we will consult our heads of state and come back and continue discussion on these issues.
Could we have some few questions from the members of the press? You introduce yourself, which media you represent, and ask short questions, please, one at a time.
Thanks very much. My name is Ben Jumbe. I work with Daily Monitor. Just like you said, the ordinary citizens would like to know, are expecting a lot from this meeting. Do we expect the border to be open as soon as possible? Thanks very much.
Two questions, and then we answer those and go to the next. Second question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My name is James Mianeza. I'm from Kigali Communiqué. My question is for Honorable Sam Kuteesa. And my question is for Honorable Sam Kuteesa, and it has to do, of course, with some of the issues raised, one of which is continued arrest of Rwandan nationals in Uganda. The government of Rwanda has said that at least 99 Rwandan nationals were arrested in Uganda after the first meeting in Kigali, and there is a sense that things are actually escalating instead of the situation improving. Why is it so difficult for Uganda to present people who are genuine suspects before courts of law? It is in the open, or to release Rwandans who are in the detention centers? Because we have seen testimonies from these people that have been deported or dumped rather at the border, because that has also been another issue. Why is it difficult for Uganda to solve this issue? Thank you.
We'll have those two questions answered, and then we'll get two other questions before we end.
Thank you very much. The question of the journalist from the Daily Vision? Daily Monitor. Will the border be open tomorrow? This was your question. So we have a very lengthy discussion, and I think the main issue on which we spent most of the time was threat against Rwandan security. Those armed groups that are operating here and that are threatening, that are even launched attacks on Rwanda. So this is the main issue. So if you would ask a question, it will be rather, would the people of the border of Rwanda live in peace tomorrow without the fear of being attacked? That would be the first question. And the second question would be, would the Rwandans go into Uganda to trade, to visit relatives, go in peace without the fear of being legally arrested or tortured? So, because the border closure or the trade between the two countries are consequences of the two first issues. And I think it will be important maybe for the Ugandan media to ensure that not to reduce this issue about a border closure. It's about state sovereignty and security. It is about the safety of Rwandans. And if we resolve those two issues, I believe that we could trade, resume trade without any problem, as we are also committed to in the Common Market Protocol of the East African Community. Thank you.
Thank you. I think the two questions are related. If I start by the first question, the second question, as to detaining Rwandans. As I said in my opening remarks, one of the issues that Uganda raised was infiltration of Uganda security agencies by the Rwanda government and its people. That issue has been discussed and will continue to be discussed. And that is the reason why people are detained, because we think that they had been on an infiltration exercise. But that one we shall continue to discuss and find ways around it. Now, as you heard the Honorable Minister, he says the safety of Rwandans is intertwined with Rwanda's closure of the border, because they think their own citizens are not safe here. We do not believe that this is a matter that cannot be overcome. We believe that trade, as members of the East African Community and members of other trading organizations, we should remove any obstacles to trade while dealing with the issue of safety of our citizens. I want to repeat, we have no difficulty in releasing people, but we must also discuss and end this issue of the attempted infiltration of our agencies, because that's the only cause. We have no reason whatsoever, and Uganda will not, as I said at the beginning, try to subvert the government of Rwanda. We have no reason, we have no benefit, we have no cause. I thank you.
During this standoff between the two countries, we have seen Ugandans murdered at the border allegedly by the security forces of Rwanda. Why has this been so? Number two.
Murdered at the border.
Number two, I need some clarification. You repeated on it, no, not very clear. Citizens from Rwanda now free to come to Uganda.
Question from a lady journalist.
I didn't hear the
There's
question.
a lady journalist there.
The second question I didn't hear.
What was your second question?
Okay, the second question was citizens of Rwanda now free to come to Uganda.
Okay.
Yeah.
The lady journalist, last question.
Thank you. My name is Nasari Fatia. I work with NBS Television. NBS. When you talked about some of the issues that you've had a bit of ground, we would like to understand which issues have you agreed on and what other issues do you think need more discussion?
If I may start with the gentleman from UBC, the issue of Ugandans killed at the border by Rwanda authorities was discussed. We think that it is a matter that should stop, although we think about it, because some of these are very petty crimes that have been committed, maybe whether it is smuggling or crossing border on their on foot. We think the killings were unfortunate and condemnable. And we hope that nothing like that will happen again. As citizens of Rwanda free to come to Uganda, I think I leave that matter to my Rwandan counterpart, because, as you said in the beginning, the reason they closed the border and advised the Rwandans not to come to Uganda is because they could not guarantee their security. We, on our part, will make every effort we can that their security is guaranteed. We do not threaten Rwandan security of Rwandans. We only deal with those who have committed crimes or are a threat to national security. But what we commit to is to try and use due process in handling them. What have we agreed? We have agreed, that's the one for NVS. We have agreed that we should continue to work, as the minister said, on the extradition treaty and see that we can bring it into force. We have also agreed to further consult on issues with our heads of state, and this is what we have committed to. The others are still a subject of discussion, and we'll continue discussing them. Please.
Thank you. Question on Uganda murdered, quote-unquote murdered at the border. This is an issue that we have discussed indeed, and we have well explained. Actually, we had communicated to our Ugandan counterpart when this regrettable incident happened. There is an issue of smugglers who are using non-official border posts at night, and who resisted arrests and attacked the police, so that the police had to defend itself. So this is an unfortunate incident, of course. Those smugglers using pioneer routes at night didn't facilitate that situation, but it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation, and we believe that we should work together, Uganda and Rwanda, to ensure that we promote trade, legal trade, and the use of legal border posts instead of allowing this kind of trade to happen. On the citizens of Rwanda, if they are not now free to come to Uganda, we should ask ourselves, why did we issue this travel advisory in February? Are the causes of this travel advisory now solved? So the situation is still there. We have, as you have heard from my colleague, we are yet to agree on the situation of Rwandans still being arrested and tortured in Uganda. Actually, this travel advisory was issued in February this year, but before that we had spent, I think, more than a year working with our Ugandan counterpart on those individual situations of people arrested and illegally detained. So at some point we had to take our responsibility and ensure that we request our people not to put themselves in harm's way. So we are still discussing on this issue of Rwandans being arrested, and the moment, of course, we'll resolve that situation, then the free movement of people will resume. Regarding the border closure, we have taken in the meeting. Actually, His Excellency President Kagame had said it in Rwanda after the signing of the Rwanda MoU, that when people who are business people, who are trading, who are carrying goods, are systematically arrested, are tortured. We have counted, I think the figure was discussed in this meeting, that since January 2018, we have more than 1,430 people who were dumped at the border, Rwandan border. When we have that situation, we can't say that it promotes trade when those people who are doing business in Uganda cannot do business in Uganda because they are arrested. This is, in our sense, a kind of border closure. So we need to first solve the issues, the causes of the situation, and then I think the trade, free movement of people will resume between our two countries. So which issues have we agreed and what needs to be done? I think I agree with Ms. Kuteesa. We mostly agree that there is progress in the amendment of extradition treaty. We had received amendment from our Ugandan counterpart, and we are reviewing them, and we believe that we agree on a final text. On the issues that we have discussed, we are yet to have an agreement on the way forward, but we have different proposals that came from this meeting, and we will continue consulting with our heads of state and see on the way forward. Thank you.
May I take this opportunity to thank the ministers for the answers they have given to the press and for the briefing.